everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be updating my Pan Those Eyeshadow Palettes series. This is my finale for the series, so if you haven't seen the other videos, I do have the playlist linked down below so you can start at the beginning and catch up with me. This is a hybrid project between Pan Those Eyeshadows and Pan That Palette, where I work through 3 eyeshadow palettes at a time with a quintet of 5 shades to work through those eyeshadow palettes. As a reminder, my last video was my last update, but that was in the middle of November, and so my timeline is a little off because I wasn't able to film earlier in the month in November, and so the numbers are a bit skewed from what they would have been because my tracking, I didn't track from the video, I tracked from the start of each month. So my numbers are a bit off probably from the last video, but I'm just gonna give you what I have and hopefully it won't be too confusing. So at the start of the project, I was working on my 2 Lorac palettes, my Lorac Pro Matte and my Lorac Pro 2 palettes, as well as my ABH Soft Glam palette. My goal with each of these palettes was to empty my Lorac palettes and hit pan in every shade in my ABH palette. I was able to hit pan in my ABH palette, I think it was back in June, so it only took me 6 months to get through it, which was a very big and exciting feat for me. So what I ended up doing was I rolled that palette out and I rolled in my Marc Jacobs Glambition palette in its place. And my original goal with that was to empty it, but then I kind of changed that to just panning every shade because I realized emptying it was too lofty of a goal. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the update, the finale, the final update for this project. Starting with the Lorac Pro Matte palette, I will put up a picture of what it was looking like last month, or perhaps I should say last update. And here is what it's looking like now. So I was really hopeful to have corduroy finished this month, but not quite there. We're not quite there. However, I did hit pan on burgundy, which was kind of my main goal with burgundy. I just wanted to get pan on it so that I could say I had hit pan in every shade in this palette, and I'm thankful that I did. I did get pan on burgundy, which is really exciting. But we'll talk about corduroy first because it is the first shade in my quintet. Corduroy I used 27 times last month. It has been in the project for a really long time now, and I used it, I have marked down that I've used it a total of 146 times since it's been in the quintet. So while I haven't completely finished it up, I do have a ton of progress on it, and I'm really thankful for that. I'm glad to see that I've gotten it so low. It's, you know, it's pretty exciting that this much of the palette I have emptied up. Only Jet Black I didn't actually fully use up this year. So that's a pretty crazy amount of product to have used, which is awesome. With burgundy, I only used it 13 times this last month, which I say only. Comparatively, that's a smaller number, but if you think about it, 13 times in 1 month is not that bad. So it was a total of 15 uses in the project. I did hit pan on it, and then I kind of stopped using it because I wanted to focus on corduroy. I ended up using this in the corner of my lower lash line, and I found it was really, really nice. So it helped me get pan because I was just kind of tapping in the center. I was just focusing so much on corduroy that I didn't really get time to really focus on burgundy. But that is essentially the update for this palette. I used Bare, Linen, Latte, Pink Mauve, and Chocolate this year, which is really awesome. And then like I said, you know, corduroy even, I've made some really good progress on that. I think if I wanted to, it probably would only take me 1 more month, if that, maybe only like 2 weeks if I continued using it the way I'm using it now, or the way I have been using it. Burgundy would take forever, but we'll get down to that at a later time. So then we're gonna go ahead and move on to the Lorac Pro 2 palette. So I will put up a picture of what it was looking like last update. And here is what it's looking like now. So you can tell, I mean, the thing is, it's kind of hard for me just to show you this. You'll see in the picture that I also have the Franken shadow up there, and you won't really see any difference on that. And then with Mocha, you will see a pretty big difference. My goal was to empty Mocha, and then with the Franken Shadow, I just hadn't really set a goal. I don't remember setting a goal. I think I just said if I use it, I use it, and if I don't, I don't. But like I said, you can't really see a difference in that. In fact, let's talk about that first. I'm not gonna open this because it is still a broken mess. I didn't touch it once. And that's okay with me. I kind of decided, you know, once it broke, it was just, there was nothing I could really do with it. And I could have repressed it, but I didn't like it enough to really put that effort in. And I have so many other eyeshadows in my collection that I'm just like, I got some good use out of it. I'm thankful for the time I had with it, but I don't need to force myself to use it. So no other usage on this one. It had a total of 28 uses on it, and then it broke. So we're just gonna leave it there and move on from it. I'm just gonna declutter it out of my collection. But as far as Mocha goes, it's actually kind of similar to the story with corduroy. With corduroy, I was using it pretty much every day. I mean, I was using all of these shadows almost every single day. So with Mocha, I used it 20 times and I got really close to having it finished up. You can see it's almost hitting side pan at the top. So again, I think maybe 2 weeks on this, and then I would have it finished if I continue to use it the same way I'm using it now, which is pretty cool. You know, I made some really good progress on it. I don't think I touched black again, so it hasn't had any movement, which I wasn't really trying to. It was just kind of there if I wanted to use it. But yeah, that's pretty much the update on this guy too. I don't think I said it was a total of 35 uses on Mocha. With it once I rolled it into my quintet, but that's pretty much the update with this. I will go over real fast. So I used Buff, Snow, Light Brown, Beige, Rosé, Nectar, yeah, and just those 5. I used those completely up. Cool Gray, Nectar, Chrome, Silver, and Charcoal I put into the Franken Shadow, and that's what created that shade. Then I had some of Plum left over and Navy. And then Jade and Cocoa, I just decluttered those shades eventually because I decided I didn't want to use them anymore. I didn't love the formula of them. I didn't love the pigmentation of them. So I just decided to move on from them. That's how we got this palette so empty. I did use 5 of the shades completely up. Not as many as I would have liked to have used completely up, but still, like I said, I'm just really happy with how much progress I made on this palette because I have so many eyeshadows in my collection, and I probably wouldn't have touched half of these shades in this last year if I hadn't had them in this project. So I'm glad for the progress I did make, even if I didn't quite hit my goal on it, you know, even if I decluttered some shades, I got a lot of love on this palette. This is my oldest palette in my collection. I got it in 2017, so it's a pretty old palette. I'm happy with how far I've gone on it. And then with my Glambition palette, I will go ahead and show you what it was looking like last update. And here is what it's looking like now. So you can see I didn't hit pan on the most. It is very, 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 very close though. I did use it a total of 23 times this last month, which is a total of 58 times since I've rolled it into my quintet. And I genuinely think that I'm really close to pan. Like if you compare this pan to this pan and you see how deep that dip goes in the most, I think you can see that like I'm not that far away. I think if I had another week, I could have done it, but I used it a ton. I'm very proud of how far I've gotten this palette. I started out with just pan and Known For, and then I got pan in these 3 guys. This one I have like a third left of. This one I've got probably, I mean, it's pretty worn. These 2 are both pretty low there. I did hit side pan on, I think this one's Seeking, or no, this one's Infamous. I hit side pan on Infamous, and I'm just really glad. I got a lot of product used up. I never did get much use on Over the Top. I did declutter Glamour because it had crumbled on me and it wasn't worth trying to repress because it was just like a shimmery black that I wasn't going to use much anyways. So I just decluttered that one. But Over the Top, I only got to use a few times. I never got anywhere close to pan on it, but I am really happy with the progress I've made. I mean, again, I've made so much progress on these 3 shades here. I feel like they could be used up within 3 months in the future, knowing my habits, it would go pretty quick on this. So that's pretty much my update. I obviously didn't hit any of the goals I had on this current quintet, but I'm really happy with the progress that I made on all of them. And I'm really excited by all the progress I made through this project. I love this project. I am intending to carry it over into next year. I will have some things change. Some palettes will change, some won't. I'll let you guess what they are. But I will talk about that in another video that I will be filming tomorrow. Today is the 31st, and I am intending to get this video out today. So you should be seeing this today. But tomorrow I am intending to film my 2022 Pan Those Eyeshadow Palettes introduction. So we will start January 1st with a new Pan Those Eyeshadow Palettes series. That one I probably won't upload until the 2nd because I intend to get my 21 and 21 update out, my finale for that tomorrow. Hopefully. Look for the Pan Those Eyeshadow Palettes intro on Sunday, January 2nd, and join me in this project if you'd like. I have found it so helpful. Yes, I kind of neglect a lot of eyeshadow palettes, but I find that I neglect them anyways. It's one of those things where you end up having favorites and you just kind of use them. And if you don't force yourself to focus in on certain palettes, you're never gonna reach for certain palettes. You're just gonna forget that they're there. So this was really helpful for me. I got a lot of progress on my 2 oldest palettes, and then I also got a lot of progress on two of my newer palettes. And I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of progress I can make on some more palettes this next year. So if you're interested in that, definitely do keep your eyes out because I will be posting that very soon. And I thank you guys so much for watching. I don't have any looks this month because this was literally the only eyeshadow look I did this last month because I was really working on getting those guys completed, but I will still have all the total progress overviews of each palette at the end of this video, including my soft glam palette. So if you're interested in seeing those will be at the end. I hope you guys all have a wonderful new year, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Thank you.